Hi, this is Odast and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to take a look at the Logitech Z906 speaker system. Unfortunately, my CA5001 system, which I bought in 2008, finally gave up the ghost. So, stepping up to modern technology, we're going to open up this box and we're going to take a look at what we get. So let's have a little chat about what the Z906 is. This product is the replacement of Logitech's Z5500. That was a flagship product that was universally well appreciated and considered one of the best systems out there for PC speaker systems, and quite a good system even for audiophiles. This system is the replacement product for the 5500. So let's take a look at what we get in this device. So let me open up the box, and this box is enormous, and so let's start with getting that started today. As you can see, we have a user's manual. Imagine that, something actually printed still. Also, as you can see, this box is truly massive. Comes really well packaged and has a massive subwoofer. It's quite heavy. But in order to do a full unboxing, I need to show you the box. So as you can see, the system is 5.1. It is the THX certified, which is quite important if you like quality sound. It's got a 500 watt system. It has quite a bit of flexibility, and we'll get into that later with regard to how you hook it up. It is designed to be a stackable component in your component rack. That may or may not matter to you. For those who want to see the specification, here it is. Go ahead and freeze your video and you can read whatever you'd like on that thing. I'll also go through some of the more detailed specs later. Wonderful little pictures, and once again we'll take some nicer ones to be able to show you what's really going on in the package. And the final side. Bottom once again tells you what's in the box, so let's go through that in some detail. So we have 5 satellite speakers, we have a subwoofer, we have speaker connection wires, and we'll get into details on all of these. 6-channel cable, we have a stackable control console, wireless remote, 3 AAA batteries, and documentation. Okay, I have unboxed the product and wanted to go into detail of what we get in this product. So let's start off with the fact that you actually get a printed manual, which is quite nice and somewhat useful. Second, speaker wire is actually included, and it is color-coded to make life easy for all. The particulars on the speaker wire is we have 3 wires that are 15 foot long, and we have 2 that are 25 foot long. They look like they're 16 to 18 gauge, and we'll go into a little more detail as we go by. The other nice thing about the speaker wire, by the way, is you can actually replace it with any speaker wire you would like, since it's just normal plug jacks in the back. The subwoofer is huge, and it is an 8-inch subwoofer. So let me go into some details, because this is really the meat of the product. So as you can see, it is an enclosure. The enclosure is a 6-order bass reflexive enclosure. It is an 8-inch side-firing port subwoofer. And what do we mean by that? Here's the front speaker. Turning it, you can see the side port. That's what they mean by that. So what else is going on in this particular thing? The connections. What it's really about is what are you connecting. So let me zoom in here so we can go into some detail. As you can see, there are lots of options. First, each and every one of the speakers are labeled. They're designed for you to plug the wires directly in as in a standard audio component. Second, you have two optical inputs, an RCA jack input, and also your traditional 3.5 inputs from your computer system. And then finally, you have a console connector, which obviously is this particular one that goes to the control panel. Okay, so that is the subwoofer. But one more thing on the subwoofer is you do have 165 watts of power for that. Turning now to the speakers, they are fairly substantial. So while they do look and are plastic, you can see they're THX certified. They do screw on the front. There's a metal mesh. The rest is plastic, but it's quite well built. Also, something I absolutely love about these speakers, once again, is the ability to use any type of normal speaker wire. Also, you have a mounting port, so you are able to mount this onto a wall or anywhere else you would like. There is no mounting hardware included in the product. There are 4 of these. There's a center speaker, and it looks very similar, except it's put on its side. The other thing I like about these speakers, by the way, is they have rubber feet to keep them from slipping, which is quite useful instead of having stands and having things tip over. That's my prior issue with my old speakers. So let's turn to the remote. Look at this. Logitech actually provides you good quality batteries. They're Duracell AAAs, 3 of them. It's actually nice to see. Turning to the remote, as you can see, it's got a power button, it's got an input button, mute, changing the level, changing the effect, and volume up and down. One of the things about the speakers that is a disappointment is there are no tweeters in them. So that can be an issue if you like high-end sound. But once again, the cost of these speakers are ridiculous in relation to even just a simple amplifier. So you do get a lot of value for your dollar in this particular setup. Now let's turn to the controller. This is the brains of the operation. As you can see, you are able to select your input, the type of decoding you want to do, traditional volume knob, power button. It'll tell you which speakers are operational, IR remote, and all sorts of other little features. Plus a fairly long cable so that you are able to plug it in and put this in a spot that's convenient. Okay. Okay, now let's turn to sound quality. Sound quality is a very subjective criteria to measure speakers. Everyone's hearing is different. Everyone's desire from a particular speaker system is also different. So it really does vary enormously. In my opinion, this system is well worth the money. You're getting a high quality system at a very inexpensive price in relation to buying the components separately. While there are some disadvantages, for example, the use of paper cones, you're not going to really hear much of a difference if you're a normal person. And also if you're older, hearing is certainly probably degraded a little bit. So the lack of tweeters may or may not vary, may or may not matter to you. Let's talk about connections for a minute, because this is one of the things I think people do not understand at all. These are analog inputs that come out of your computer system. You don't want to use those unless you have to. And let me explain why. And even if you have a sound card, you may or may not want to utilize those outputs. I would prefer to use the digital output, and so let me tell you partially why. In a computer, audio is kept digitally until it is modified by an item called a DAC. That DAC can be internal to your motherboard, it could be a separate audio card, or it could be, as in the case here, sitting inside of your box. Okay, and the subwoofer box. So when you are hooking up your system, it is best to utilize the highest end product that you can for conversion from digital to analog. That may be your motherboard, depending on the quality of the board. It may be an audio card, or it may be the DAC that's located inside of the subwoofer. In this case, I think that I'm going to go with the DAC because I don't have a dedicated audio card to convert, first of all. Second of all, it is, in my opinion, best to have your conversion at the latest point, once again, assuming that you have a quality DAC located there. So I hope that helps with a little bit of confusion, because once again, most of the material that I've seen is actually wrong. And for example, when somebody says to connect to your high-end audio card and use the optical out, it defeats the entire purpose of the card, because you are getting an optical signal that is unmodified by the card itself. So the card serves no purpose whatsoever, and the DAC in the subwoofer is doing the conversion. So that's something to be aware of. So if you don't have a card, an audio card, go with the digital out. If you do have an audio card, and it's a good one, test to see whether or not you prefer that mode, but don't go with an optical out. If you have a really good audio card and you're very comfortable with that, have it do the conversion from digital to analog, and then use your analog inputs. Otherwise, once again, take advantage of the fact that this product actually does have a very good DAC incorporated into it. Hey, this is Odast, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you learned something. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe below. Once again, thank you for watching. Odast out.